Um,
Okay.
okay, so yeah, so let's talk. What do you want to start? Do you want to start with? I think Chelsea, Man City. That's the big one. That's the
Yeah,
most
that's
recent
it.
game. You're rocking your Chelsea blue. So, what were your thoughts on that game?
Okay, so basically, when that game started, um, I think since let me go back a little bit since Tuchel started, came into Chelsea. I followed him a lot in Dortmund. Sorry about that,
Hmm.
Whistling. I followed him in Dortmund. I didn't know him a lot when he was at Mainz,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
follow him in Dortmund and then to PSG. I admired him a lot, and then when he came to Chelsea, um, I think he changed the mentality of the team. That's one thing that he just
Hmm.
did. He changed the way that the boys thought about themselves
Right.
because before we will be cruising the moment we concede goals or if we don't score and the opposition don't score, you know, at some point in the game, the mental strength of the team just like takes a
Goes
nosedive.
down. Yeah.
And and the manager then, I think, didn't know how to handle that and to bring the team back up. So when Tuchel came in, he first shored up the defense, of the team and the cohesion in defending, not just certain people doing the defensive
Yeah.
work. You know, uh, I think he made sure that everyone was working at the same frequency and level. The output of the work from the players, I think they are all equal compared to before. And I believe in a team when everyone is working at the same frequency, the level of work is at the same level for everyone, maximum input. I think
Hmm.
first it conserves the energy of the team that all of them get tired at the same time in the game.
Yeah.
So that's what I think he did. He changed that mentality and the discipline, the tactical discipline of the team is just right there. If you look at some of the players that were always being talked about, how poor they are in recovery, like take Jorginho for example.
Hmm.
They always say that Jorginho is the weak guy in the team. But before now, I've always been a fan of Jorginho the way he plays, because when a team when a team is in possession, it will be difficult for you to expose them, and I think that's what Jorginho helps the team to do. Although sometimes, some people might say, oh, he doesn't play forward balls, but no, Jorginho knows when to play forward balls and when not to play forward balls. So back to the Man City game, I think it was a game that I was looking forward to because
Hmm.
I know that the mentality of the two teams are top. You know, the coaches believe that they have the best team, and when the coaches believe that, then it's up to the players to show that on the field. And I think Chelsea were a more energetic side. I know maybe because of they have a 1 day off from the Champions League, and then the cohesion of the team was just right there. The energy was there, and when we possessed the ball, Man City dropped it. So it was a 50-50 game actually, to be honest. It was not as
Yeah.
if we played Man City back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. I think I'll agree with that assessment as well. It wasn't like you played Man City off the park. I actually, even to Pep's credit, like it wasn't. I don't think it's a game where he was overthinking his tactics. It's just one of those things where Chelsea just had that extra bit of quality behind the defenders. Like he
Yes,
got in behind a couple times. And once he gets in behind, those players are very dangerous against City's defense. So,
absolutely.
so I think
Yeah.
that was, but it's a good win. Two semifinals. I think the guys on the row. I think again, maybe Champions League might be too far for him. We'll talk about Champions League soon, but uh,
Oh
I think that's
my.
a step too far. Even though I personally think Chelsea will give Madrid a tough time, just because of the profile of the squad, like the kind of players you have: Pulisic, Werner. Those two especially Ziyech, those three, like that profile is going to be very, very like if you guys go with speed, if you go with like Thomas Tuchel's like his actual Dortmund style of play, it will be a
Mm-hmm.
long two legs for Madrid.
Yeah, you know, now we have to switch to the Champions League. What I mean switch is that yes, we've done our FA Cup tie, right? FA Cup has a different spirit. FA Cup has a different approach. You know, now we have to switch automatically to the Champions League. And
Mm-hmm.
when in the Champions League, Madrid, they are a very experienced side. They are very, very experienced. And they still have the core group of players that won them 4 Champions League, titles in a row, actually 3 in a row, but one with Carlo Ancelotti and then Zidane took over and then did 3 in a row. So those core groups, they are still there. Now, Madrid is not known for tactics. You know, I think passion is one thing that plays for them.
Mm-hmm.
The desire to win, the experience of
Experience,
being a
yeah.
winning team. That's real, and they're not carried away because they know that they've done it before and they
Yeah.
can do it again. Which is they don't overthink. So Zidane is not even worried about the team because he knows the caliber of players he has. These players are winners. They are serial winners. So, but when it comes to Chelsea, it is up to Chelsea as a team to understand this aspect of Real Madrid and not to be carried away and overexcited. Because if they become carried away and they're overexcited, that is a bonus point for Madrid because when you are excited and carried away, you lose focus. And when you lose focus, that's when Madrid will strike you. And that is one of the things that they used against Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Liverpool, although I think Liverpool as a team, they were already tired. The frequency, the level of play, the consistency in the team,
Wasn't there.
they were always on the go, on the go, on the front foot. The energy level was not there, even in the first and second leg. But Madrid knew how to contain that. Now, Chelsea and their manager, first of all, their manager will be like, oh, I got to the Champions League final, maybe I can go again.
Mm-hmm.
But he does not need to be carried away. So that is one of the things I like about German coaches. I think they are cool-headed.
Yeah.
They're not too carried away by emotions and over excitement. And with that in mind, they can be able to he can be able to steady the ship in the first and second leg. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not as if we're going to strike Madrid 3-4-0. No, because we don't have those. It's only once that we've won with more than 3 goals, which was
Yeah.
against Crystal Palace. So the aim here is to get to the next round. So that's what I think. And I believe that it's a 50-50. I'm not going to discredit Madrid for anything. No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's 100% we're going to win this game. No, but I'm going to say that it's a 50-50 challenge for both teams. And whoever that plays better stays focused, keeps their head down to play the game because Chelsea will have more possession, but also Madrid can hit on a counter. They have very, very quick players.
Yeah.
They are
Vinicius.
not scared. They are not scared.
Yeah. I mean, from Madrid's perspective, I think again, like they have nothing to lose. It might sound crazy to say this because of the way their summer has gone, but like it would be disappointing if they lost the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they won it either because it's Madrid. You
Mm-hmm.
underestimate them at your risk. But in this instance, I just think Chelsea might edge. Like it's not like you're gonna play Madrid off the park. I think it's just one of those ties that might be decided on one crazy goal from someone. Like might be Pulisic,
Exactly.
like a long range strike or something, or like Giroud scores a header from somewhere. So that's my prediction for the Chelsea game. But let's switch gears and talk. Let's dive deeper into Champions League, like second legs. I mean, our predictions were pretty much spot on. At least mine. I don't know about you. Mine were exactly spot on. I'll start with the PSG Bayern game. I think that the two legs, I think the football is of a very high quality in my opinion. I really enjoyed the first game. I really enjoyed the second one, even though in the first half, I thought PSG was going to run away with it because like Neymar, they had a few chances. Neymar had a few like not breakaways, but he controlled that game from PSG's
Hmm.
perspective. And then Bayern kind of grew into the game. They had their own chances. They scored, but it was kind of like a fair. I think 3-3 was a fair, like it was a fairly acceptable result, but away goals obviously. But
Yeah,
what do you think?
yeah. Honestly, I thought PSG would cave in. I
No,
thought, especially towards the end of the game. Towards the end of the game, it was cagey. You know,
yeah, that's true.
I was I. It was a nervy end of the game because in the first half, PSG had opportunities. You know,
Yeah,
um, the post, the bar, and a couple of saves from
yeah.
Manuel Neuer. So it was as if nothing was working for PSG in terms of goal scoring. They had clear chances to score. They had opportunities to score, but the ball was not crossing
Although
the line.
Bayern can make that argument about the first leg too. They had some half chances that if Lewandowski was playing, if Gnabry was playing, they put those away. At the same time, they could make those arguments for the first
Yeah,
leg.
but unfortunately, those were not playing. So it
Yeah.
was all in PSG's court with those chances. And those were clearer chances, especially in the second leg, compared to the chances that
Bayern
Bayern
had.
had.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the game, PSG were completely in defensive mode.
Yeah.
So and that is also where in this game of football, two teams cannot be attacking at the same time. So one has to sit back and defend while the other attack. And if the other converts, transites into from defending to attacking, then the other attacker becomes a defender. That's the nature.
I don't know if I agree. I think generally true, but I think Atalanta versus I was it Ajax. There was a crazy game like that where it seemed like both teams were just like going for the wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. But
Yeah, but
those two teams are tactically different though. Like Atalanta is a very special case in terms of tactics.
yeah, but
I
if
really
you
like
if
that team.
okay, now if you look at those type of teams, they don't really go far. They don't really go far because
Yeah, that's
first
true.
of all, the team has to you have to take care of your defense when you are defending.
Yeah,
So you don't believe that you're going to concede and then that you're going to score. You don't top teams never play like that. The teams that win trophies, they never play like that. When it's time for them to defend, they sit deep and they defend. That was what happened as well to Liverpool and Real Madrid. But focusing on Bayern came and came and came and came. And 1-0 is the most it's second to the most crazy scoreline in a game. If you concede again, it could have been over for PSG, no matter what. And Bayern had that boom here at the back of their mind that we just need one goal. We just need one goal. And PSG were defending. So as PSG is defending, Bayern kept coming. Bayern kept
yeah,
coming. Bayern kept coming. And PSG, there was a point in the last 10 minutes, PSG couldn't cross
yeah.
their
They just
own center
retreated.
line.
They
They
retreated
just
too deep.
it did.
Yeah,
So that comes to the focus, mental strength of the defending team.
yeah,
So I think they passed the test.
yeah. They did this time. It's a risky
They,
game. It's not like Atletico Madrid is used to. That's their bread and butter. But PSG in these kind of situations, they take the lead in the first leg, they lose to Man U
Mhm.
in the second leg, or they lose to Madrid. But yeah, it's good to see them at least like have some maturity. I was really, like I said, I was impressed with the game. The only thing that really scared, like I understand it was cagey. The only thing that really like made me nervous about the PSG game was when Sane, when he did the cutback. In my head,
Yes.
I'm like, that should be a finish. from Sane. That's a typical his angle. He's already gotten rid of the defender. Defender is sliding all over the place. Finish that chance. And then Navas caught the ball. I'm like, yeah, the game is done.
If you know when that was happening, I looked at the time. The check at the time of the game, that was the last action of the game. So imagine if he had scored. There's no coming back. There is no coming back. So, and that is what makes this game crazy. You know, I don't like the 1-0 score line. It's just like 1-0 and 2-0 score line. They are the most 2-0 is the most deceitful score line in the game of football for me. I don't know
Yeah,
about you
I
and any
think
other
so.
person because if you're winning 2-0, it's easy for you to relax. It's easy for you to like sit back and like, yeah, we've got 2-0. But once you concede one, the
Yeah,
possibility of conceding an equalizer is just right there.
it's right
And if
there.
you concede 1-0, if you're winning 1-0, you know, you're losing 1-0 like PSG did. There are two things playing on in the back of in the mind of Bayern players. We just need one goal.
Yeah.
Just one goal.
On another day, we could have gotten it against another team, I think maybe, but this was just one. Again, too many things, too many factors for them. They were missing players, PSG also, but the coach is having issues. So they're just some little minor things. But again,
Yeah,
they've enjoyed their treble last season, so another team's turn this time. So again,
yeah.
domestically, I don't know if PSG will be able to lift League on this season. But I
Mhm.
don't think it matters much if they win the Champions League, which I think they will. We'll see. Like Mbappe is going to. It's not going to be an easy game, which brings us to the next game. City versus Borussia Dortmund. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think PSG will. Which I don't know. Are they playing away first or home first? I don't even remember. Because if they're
I
playing
think
away
I
first,
think I think I think Man City is playing. Yeah, I think PSG is playing away first.
oh, that might be a
Yeah.
long, long two legs for Pep. That's
Well,
that doesn't suit him at all. If City is playing home first, yeesh.
I think. Wait, let me check here. Now, I think first of all, I watched the Borussia Man City game. I think lack of experience to
Always the case for
Borussia.
Dortmund every single time
Yeah,
since 2013. It's always a lack of experience, but
because I think they scored first.
yes,
You know, but also I would say that they tried. But have a bunch of very very young promising players. But I think mentally Man City was ahead of them,
yeah, yeah, you
both
can say
from
that.
the coaching and from the players. And I think that was why, because there would have been a team that if it was them that scored the first goal, Man City would just panic would have set in,
Yeah,
you know, and it could have been that they would say, well, when you are frustrated and you try all things possible to win a game and it's not coming because the other team is mentally stronger and maybe have had experience or better experience than you in the Champions League, you might see it as a deja vu of what had happened in your previous season that you were good, you had all the best players, people were thinking you would win the Champions League, like last season. People thought that Man City would go all the way because they had an easy pathway.
yeah.
Even the last two seasons too, when Tottenham dumped them out, and
The season before they had Monaco, I think.
exactly. So these are teams that when you have an edge over them mentally, I think it's easier for you to come back, score again, and then still on the tie. And that
Yeah,
was what
I think it's more to do with the mental thing than the experience. Like I understand the experience argument, but like when I'm more interested in the profile of squad. Like when I look at teams, I look at the profile of players they have.
Mm-hmm.
Sancho wasn't in this game, but I think Reina, um, Marco Royce played.
Yeah.
Holland.
Bellingham,
They
Bellingham
have
came
players that
in.
are like quick, especially over like short distances as well. Those kind of teams usually give City very, 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 very tough time. So like, I don't know if they underplayed their level of expertise, which I think they did. Like they underplayed how many weapons they actually had to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the top, comes from the coach, it just comes from the stage they're at right now. So I think it's more a mental thing for them, which is weird because if you look at the way they played last season, they really had an opportunity to win the league. They blew it last season, and I think they blew it the season before. So I don't know. There's some
Yeah.
mental. They're still living off of this. They're trying to recreate this Klopp.
Near success syndrome.
Yeah, but they haven't moved on because they see when I watch them, the way they play is very not this season. The second half of the season for them has been terrible in the Bundesliga. But like last season, they were very, very good going forward. Absolutely fantastic. Sancho, Hazard, and then Holland came and joined them, and it was just they were devastating. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
just something about them.
Another thing for Dortmund these days, they have not had, consistency in coaching. They have not had consistent coaches. They've always, switched coaches.
Hmm.
If you check from the time Jurgen Klopp was there, and now, um, their coaches have come and gone, maybe 1, 2 seasons, and they're gone, maybe 3 seasons most, And when you keep changing coaches like that, you have the players, you have, uh, in attack, you have like some of the best in the world in the
Hmm.
attack, but also in their midfield, there has not been, I think City was much more better in the midfield. And when you have a better midfield,
It's
you
always going
know,
to be an
it's
advantage.
always to your advantage because one, it's easier for you to link up play. The midfield is a core part of the team or in football because the midfield helps the defense, gets it from defense, transits to attack. The midfield sucks up pressure
Hmm.
from the opposition. So everything is when you anything that has very, very good midfielders or hardworking midfielders, quality, experience, and mental strength and everything, it's easier. But if you look at Dortmund, they didn't have that. If you match, position for position for Dortmund and Man City midfielders, Man City midfielders are way, way ahead of Dortmund
Yeah.
midfield.
Yeah, I
So
think
that's, I think,
midfield is very in these kind of games too. I think a lot of focus is always on the attack. We've been spoiled with like Ronaldo, Messi for how many years? So I
mm-hmm.
think yeah, it's very easy to, and that's why I even think like when I go back to the PSG Bayern game, I think Verratti was probably the biggest miss for PSG because they
Yes,
would have changed their style if
absolutely.
he played.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Well, you missed the first leg, right? You didn't play the first leg,
Yeah, I think he didn't play the first leg as
and
well.
then you didn't play the second leg. So, and I think the same thing happened somewhere last season as well when he was not. I don't think he played in the final. I can't remember if he
I
played in
don't know
the
if he
final.
did. I think he might have played in the final because when I was watching that second leg, I think it was Idrissa Gana Gueye. He was terrible in the first
Mm-hmm.
half. I don't know if it was just me that noticed that. He was all over the place. And I was like, anytime he plays, I don't know, he has like a couple of good games, and then there's this one game where he chooses, and him and Danilo does the same thing as well. This one
Yeah.
game where they just choose to have off days. But at the end of the day, the rest of the team did the job. But yeah, I think midfield is usually if you have a good midfield, you have an advantage.
Yes.
Sort of like you won't still be able to beat like teams that can outgun you up front, but you have an advantage over little teams, which is funny. Just a little segue into like I think one team that reminds me a lot of that is Arsenal back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Not even too far, not the days of Henri. Like after that, the Emirates
Yeah.
era, they had very good midfield players like Fabregas, Nasri. Those were the team.
Yeah.
Those were the people that were linking up, playing all those intricate passes. They didn't have the forward to take them to the next level. but they had the midfield to
exactly.
actually keep them up. So they were able to beat smaller teams, like they beat those teams easily, but they were not able to get the edge over like a Chelsea or a
Hmm.
City or a United because they didn't have some pieces. But again, that's the thing about midfield. So you still need balance at the end of the day. So I think Dortmund needs
Yeah.
they'll need some of that eventually. So how about I think
Yeah,
this
I think just to touch a little bit, the PSG finals last season, Verratti did not play.
oh he didn't play.
He was not even in the lineup.
Ah,
I
that makes a
remember that.
massive
It's not,
difference.
yeah, Marquinhos, Paredes, and
Oh
Herrera.
yes.
There were the three in the midfield
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
played, So it was a very, very big miss. Hopefully he's back in
And
the
it's
team.
funny because I used to think I think when Verratti first signed because he came from Pescara, I'm like
Hmm.
this guy's over. I thought he was overrated personally, but I started watching him, not even just PSG. And
Yeah.
I'm like this guy is one of the like at the time I saw him, I'm like this is one of the best. I don't even know what he is. It's not like a he's not really a holding midfielder. It's not box to box. Like he pops into spaces. It's like a deep line playmaker kind of. I'm like this
That's
guy.
Italian style for Andre Pirlo.
Yeah,
Now you have variety, and that is why Jorginho is there. Now, some people say Jorginho is not because people are used to people just running and flying into tackles, in the English Premier League,
yeah,
But if you look at in the Italian national team, they value that deep lying playmaker, like Andre, because Andre Pirlo, I think he changed that position for
yeah.
Italian football, and when he did that, they are now looking for those players to play in those positions for them. And that is why when, not to deviate, but when, what's his name? Jorginho came to Chelsea, he was playing that for Mauricio Sarri. Now, Sarri left, feel like, oh, Lampard is going to change stuff. Lampard didn't change. So maybe Lampard must have seen what this guy is doing in training and how he plays. And I think that's what going to
But
work for
but
him.
you see the difference with players like that though, in my opinion, like the difference between him and Verratti is if Verratti makes everyone else around him better because he has like he can I don't even want to call it dribble, like he knows how to drop his shoulder, like he has more to his game. He can spin like he can spin it like another midfielder. He can put balls over the
Yeah.
top. He can put it on the ground. Doesn't score enough goals, which that's a different discussion. But like Jorginho, the difference between him and like I think even a Xhaka is they seem to they're very
No,
good at like one
don't
thing.
compare him with Jack at
No,
all.
no, I don't even know if he's better at I don't like Xhaka at all, but I don't
He's
know if
not. He's way ahead of Xhaka
I
because
don't know about way ahead to be honest. Both
Jorginho
of them are
sees.
good at one thing to me. Like they're good at Jorginho is a better progressive passer. He can
Jorginho
pass
is
forward,
more.
but he
Jorginho
cannot
is
he cannot run, he cannot dribble.
no. It's
He's not
okay. I,
athletic.
I I agree with you. But for Jorginho,
Verratti
one
is
thing
nothing.
Jorginho is different. Jorginho what makes Jorginho different than Xhaka, and some other players in that position. It's his ability to see things before he plays the ball. That's one thing. And
Yeah,
if
that's
you're
fair.
looking for players that can play, give you one touch pass and move in those deep positions, that's Jorginho for you. Now, I think for I think Italy they're in the advantage. Why? Because they have Verratti and they have Jorginho. Both of them plays in the Italian national team. It's not even as if one sits on the bench and then
Yeah,
stops the other. So that's good for the Italian national team. And in a team that plays like this double six, the two holding
yeah.
midfielders, because mainly Italy plays back three, and then you
Perfect.
play two
Wing
two
backs.
holding midfielders. So with a team that has Jorginho and Verratti all in their midfields doing the job, they don't really need to, stress when it comes to going forward. Maybe when they are under pressure. That is why it's very good for the team, for every member of the team to work at the same level, the work rate to be equal. And when that's done, I think it helps those non-quick players in the midfield. And I think
Yeah.
that's what you know. So anyway, back to the Man City Dortmund.
Yeah, that one
Well,
was. I mean, like I said last week, I think I thought the same thing. I think it played out the exact same way. I think I thought City were gonna have just a little bit more. And they showed that they had a little bit more against Dortmund. So
Well, they've done their jobs. I think they are now in the semi-final. So if they are not overwhelmed, you know, because the next thing would be how will they fare in the semi-finals. But anyway, we'll get to that.
we'll get to that. So let's go Liverpool Real Madrid. Straightforward game in my opinion. I didn't really enjoy the second leg, but I mean Madrid had already done the damage in the first one, so there was nothing else to for them to kind of overdo going into leg
Exactly.
two.
Yeah, it was. I observed Liverpool keenly, in the first half. The first 10 minutes, they did their normal thing, the way
Hmm.
we know Liverpool. First 10 minutes, and after that first 10 minutes, they just dropped, and they sat back. They made it comfortable for Madrid. You know, they had the upper hand in possession, but without when you possess the ball and you don't cause fear, you don't make the opposition to think
Hmm.
that you can cause harm. Forget it. And after the first 10 minutes of that game, Liverpool just struggled. It was as if they were all tired.
Yeah.
They were discouraged. I think they've given up for that game. Because
They
before
didn't have the crowd on their side too. So it's not like, the crowd could always pick. That's how they to me, that's how they were able to get the Champions League that they won in 2019. That's how they were able to beat Barcelona. Because to be fair, people forget that in that first leg, that game was like if Dembele finishes his chance, what was it? Was it three? Was it four? Was
I
it
think it
four?
was
First leg was
four.
four. That was the end of the game. Like it was five. There's no coming back from that. And obviously, Barca took their foot off the gas so much at Anfield. They just relaxed. But Anfield was the difference, in my opinion, not because Liverpool were special on the nights. I mean, you look at it in history and say they were special, but it was,
Yeah,
if you look at the whole game, it was they had moments in the second half. It was just a handful of minutes that they just like
yeah,
everything unraveled. So I think they're not able to do it against Madrid, mostly because there's no one in the stadiums. That makes a
exactly.
difference.
Their fourth man was missing, and besides, there has been a lot. The signs were already there for Liverpool throughout the season. I think from once the Van Dijk injury happened, there was a psychological twist in the team. Their rock is gone, and then the second rocky, player they have, their second strong man in defense, Gomez,
Yeah,
was gone. The backup, Matip, boom, gone.
not there.
The Croatian centre back that they had, who could, I believe, if he was still there, what's his name? I think he went to Russia.
Lovren.
Uh, Lovren. If he was there, I think they wouldn't have this very, very awful season because,
I don't
yeah,
know. I agree a little bit, but I think it's
yeah. One,
becoming.
one thing, one thing that is what's his name? Fabinho will never have gone back to
No,
play
that's
center,
true.
or maybe he could have, if he was going back, he would play with then what's his name? Their captain Henderson will still be in midfield because
Yeah,
those two were playing centre back for them.
but this has been coming for Liverpool, to be honest. I think people I understand the Van Dijk thing, but this is in my opinion, I think it's overplayed because if you really look at some of the signs from last season, and they deserve to win the league, don't get me wrong, but some of the signs, like against Watford, there's a couple games that you like, and they were just winning games by one goal. That's never sustainable. It was never going to be sustainable enough this season. They needed more. So that's why when they played against Villa, Van Dijk played against Villa. They considered seven against Villa.
Yep.
Like there was always going to be games like that this season for Liverpool, Van Dijk or no Van Dijk.
Now another thing that happened in Liverpool is this: if you if you go back to their game, they twisted their game this season. Liverpool twisted playing a very high line this season. They played higher than I ever seen them play under Jurgen Klopp, and that was why Villa tore them to pieces. Because one, also Aston Villa had fast players too,
Hmm.
and the two fullbacks in Liverpool are not the fastest when it comes to defending. And that was what I saw in Liverpool. I just observed their game this season. They played high line. They want to keep possession, pursue that front. But also, the energy level was there when they did it and did it well. And when they don't do it well, it was just a disjointed, team in terms of the synchronization of the team, their movement and everything was not really seen compared to what they did last time. The other time, you would see they didn't really play a high line, very, very high.
Yeah.
They still did their genuine pressing, but they did not push so high. They didn't push so high like they did this season. And I think that's what also affected them, even in that 7-1 that they played against Aston Villa.
Yeah. 7-2.
So 7-2. But it didn't work out for them. Now, with Madrid, their season was already finished before they played Madrid. Their season was already finished, you know. And when they started losing home matches over and over, they lost like 6 home games
Yeah.
in a row, and that's like, and then Madrid coming with that, mentality, these guys have lost 6 straight home games. We're not going to be the change
Yeah.
in that, in that line. So Madrid came, we die here, we play, we're not losing. At most, we get a draw. And that was
Yeah.
what Madrid played for. So it wasn't a good season for them. And when you're not having a good season in the league, it will be difficult for you to have a good run in the Champions
In the
League
Champions League. Yeah.
because you'll be playing against teams that are doing well in their domestic leagues too. So the momentum is there for those teams. If Madrid were having a poor season, you know, because Madrid started poorly, and even at that, they picked up momentum. If you look at the La Liga table, they've cut the distance between them and Atletico. Barcelona also did the same thing. So Madrid season started getting better. Even when they did not have their best players,
Yeah.
especially the Sergio Ramos,
Sergio Ramos.
Eden Hazard has been out for, in and then out for a long time and then in again, and then out again. So these are players that are game changers. Good as in they had their 3 musketeers in the midfield, you
Yeah.
know, three
The midfield
Galacticos,
has seen them through a lot of games.
Casemiro
And
and
Modric.
Modric. So those two are able to pull strings, from the middle to attack, doing their job well. So those guys were having a good season, and
Yeah.
Liverpool was just off it. So
Yeah.
I
So to
wasn't
wrap up,
expecting.
the Champions League side of things, Chelsea Porto.
I was disappointed that we considered another type of goal like we considered against Brighton in the first leg of Premier League season against them. The bicycle kick,
Yeah.
from that guy, and trust me, I think that guy is from Iran, and the guy that scored against Chelsea in Brighton with an overhead kick,
That
similar, is
Yahan
also
Bash,
from
I
it.
think is his
Yeah,
name. Yeah, the
he's also
Brighton guy.
Iranian. So it's so,
The-
like these guys are good with this. And I'm happy that there's no Iranian in Real Madrid,
oh, they'll
you
score a
know,
bicycle kick against
to
Chelsea.
play to go another bicycle kick. And But I was happy that when they scored that goal, it was almost, the game was finished. It was
Hmm.
one. If they had scored that goal in the 75th minute,
It becomes a different tie.
it becomes a different tie. Now Chelsea would come out to want to play. Maybe we'll still get something because, well, first of all, the man of the match was not from Porto. It was Christian Pulisic,
Yeah,
who had 11 fouls or 12 fouls on him, against Porto. So they knew that he was the most dangerous player there, so they continued fouling him. But again, I go to our finishing in the final third. We have not been clinical throughout the season. You know, I think since Tuchel came in, we've not been that clinical. During Lampard's short term, I think we were scoring goals freely, but we were also conceding and losing.
exactly.
So
That's the
I think
difference.
the difference there, I would take this second part of the season other than the first one because I prefer to win and be in control of the game than to score as many goals as I can and then lose the game. And when you lose, it's not a matter of how many goals you scored or how in those moments that you played well, but it's what happened, what was the result, you know. So we pretty much, I think we were ready for what was coming against Porto.
Yeah,
It was a match that Chelsea really controlled because we knew that, yeah, we're not just going to let the 2-0 go over. But I think towards the end of the match, it was when we allowed them that opportunity to score, and thank God it happened at the time it
yeah,
happened. If not, we would have been
yeah.
like something different. Yeah, but anyway.
So looking ahead to the semis, I mean we know the ties. What do you think? We can do the predictions again. Um, this time instead of doing like the first and second legs, you can just predict the tie. And I'll start. I'll go with PSG City game. I'm gonna say PSG. They'll edge that one a little bit.
As a PSG fan.
I think City will get desperate at some stage. They will claw the game back, but I think Mbappe and Neymar, that combination is just too much to fail for the
Not only
second leg in
them,
a row.
don't take away Di Maria from that double.
Yeah, he's been
You
kind of
know,
patchy, but yeah, that's a fair point. But I think I don't know
no,
when
if you
Verratti is
if you look
coming
at
back.
Di Maria, if you look at Di Maria's game in that quarterfinal, I saw the way he handled Alfonso Davies. You know, he's not the pacey one that is going. I think he was clever
Yeah,
and smarter than Davies in that game because if he wanted to put the ball on the run and go, of course, he's going to win. You know, so but I think he played the ball at his feet, on his feet. He had it on his feet. There were moves that he made like this guy. I thought this guy was finished, but this guy is not finished
yeah,
yet.
no,
He was
definitely.
he
He's a
was
very
really really good.
tactically aware player. Like that's why managers like Di Maria. They play him in the middle of a 4-3-3 in the middle of the midfield. So he has different roles to play. I just think that Neymar and Mbappe, there's something that they have just from that pain of losing out just not long ago last season. I think they're taking the momentum with them this time. Like especially Mbappe, he's done this to Man City before. He'll do it again. So I think PSG will go to the final, and I think Chelsea. This one again. This one might be slightly, um, what's the word? It might be slightly
Edgy.
edgy. Let's call it edgy. I'm going to say Chelsea as well. As much as I don't want Chelsea to be in the final, I think the profile of players they have should give Madrid. And then the problem is they probably won't score enough goals for the efforts they put in, which is why again you don't write off Madrid because Benzema can score, Vinicius can have a good game again, Tony
Mm-hmm.
Kroos, the Casemiro, Modric will do their thing. But I think Chelsea will edge this one. Just just edge. They will just get to the final and they'll get smacked by PSG. But that's a different topic entirely.
good predictions, and because we are in this together, and we are PSG fans. I would say I will hope that PSG gets to the final. I will hope that they get to the final, and but I'm never going to write off. I'll just give everyone 50-50 chance of getting to the finals.
Nah, that's my prediction. You have to have like put your neck on the line. Who's going to win Chelsea Madrid? Who's going to win?
It's not all about remember there's two aspects of me right now. A
Mm-hmm.
part of me is a fan. A part of me is a professional coach. And when I see the football played by both teams, it makes me. I can't just give it to ourselves. PSG will get to the finals. I'll just say Man City. Now, don't get me wrong. Definitely one team will get to the finals. Mentally speaking, let me just go this way. Between the two coaches of PSG and Man City, one has an edge over the other in Champions League, and that is Pochettino has an edge over the Guardiola. Why did I say that? Because I'm not going to go back to Pep's time in his previous clubs. I'll take it on his time in Man City, and he has played Pochettino in Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
And Pochettino, without signing players, beat him and went to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the edge that I think Pochettino has over Pep, and that's a mental edge. You can take that away from them or from Poch.
Yeah, I mean, from a
For,
context
for,
perspective,
for, for, for
yes.
the for the team itself. Now when you see both teams, I think they are all balanced.
Yeah.
I would say that I can't say um,
I think
defensively.
Mbappe and Neymar give them the edge. There's no
Yes,
doubt about that.
yes, basically they do because they are. But you don't write off players in. Let's say now if we go department by department, let's put it that way. Let's say a combined Man City PSG 11. In a combined Man City PSG 11, Man City will have more players on the pitch.
I mean,
So
you could make that
just
argument, but
yeah.
Neymar
So,
and Mbappe
so
is a very
just
unfair balance. That is something that gives.
two of them cannot just win
Neymar is
Champions
not
League.
injured this time. Oh, yeah, this time, I think the mistakes of last year won't happen again.
Trust
Not if
me,
they get to a final.
trust me. Now, Bayern defenders are not better than Man City defenders. You agree with me on that?
Not this season, no.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about the season.
Yeah.
They are not better. Good. Midfield, midfield wise, the midfielders, PSG midfielders are not better than Man City midfielders.
Yes, but that's because City has De Bruyne. De Bruyne is like a.
De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Rodri.
I mean, I personally don't rate Rodri, but I see the other. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is this: the people in that midfield, not only one. Even
Yeah.
Fernandinho, he's not quick, but he knows his limits and his strength, and he's also an experienced player. Now, if we look at PSG's midfield, just Verratti. Who else?
Maybe
I don't know.
Danilo. Maybe Danilo. Part
Danilo.
of this is not bad, but I get your point. But this
So
is
that's the thing. So it will go down to in the attack. Let's know it's just PSG's attack. you know. So let's see who takes more advantage of the opportunities.
yeah.
Definitely, the opportunities fall to PSG. They will definitely take them because they have undisputedly the world's best
Yeah.
attacks. Attackers in their team. Mbappe. Mbappe is like the Pele of the modern era. Winning the World Cup as a teenager, and he might still win it again because France got a good team, coming to the Euros, not only missed out in the Euros last time,
Yeah.
so he's but one tree does not make a forest, and
Oh no,
Southampton, no.
definitely, but we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna stick to my.
I,
I
I
think
I'm going to give them a 50-50 chance.
I think it's two
Yeah.
blue teams in the final for me.
Yeah. I'm going to give them 50-50. I'm sorry, I can't just say PSG,
Okay, okay,
you
that's
know.
fair.
I can't just say Man City because Man City can they can lose the same way PSG can lose, you know. And Man City they have not been clinical lately, so that is also an edge for PSG. If you check the games that they've played, they've actually struggled to score goals, even
Yeah,
against even against Borussia. You look back against Leeds United. Leeds were down 10 men. Leeds won that game. You look at their Champions League game against Borussia. They struggled in the first leg for me to score goals. You
so
might have all
basic,
the
so
possession.
basically, you're saying PSG will win the game.
I mean, I'm saying
That's what you just said. So I'll
if
take that as PSG.
well, good luck to PSG. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, okay. He's
Good
scared to
luck to
make the predictions,
PSG.
but I'm putting my neck out there. I think it's a PSG Chelsea final. And it'll be exciting. But we know who's gonna win that one. We'll see. So let's do rapid fire for Europa League. We don't have to go
You didn't tell
into.
me. I mean, what of Chelsea and Madrid? What's your prediction?
Oh no,
Oh,
I
you said
said I said
PSG.
Chelsea.
You said
Two
it's
blue teams. Yeah,
PSG,
it will be
PSG
PSG
and
Chelsea
Chelsea.
final. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I think will happen. Because especially Pochettino and Tuchel will be in the final, and we'll see how that will turn out. But I mean, it'll be a good season for Chelsea regardless of the outcome. I don't think they'll win the Champions League, but stranger
Yeah,
things
if
have
you,
happened.
if you say that, I remember Roberto Di Matteo. No one gave us a
It's not
chance.
gonna happen
Uh,
again. That
I'm
would
telling you, it's going to happen. We're
no.
going to do Pochettino. Sorry, what's his name? Roberto Di Matteo
It would
2.0.
never happen again.
Okay,
No.
that's that. Remember, we're playing the FA Cup on the 15th of May,
Me.
which comes before the Champions League finals. Okay, so we do that business. I hope that Leicester will not turn up that day, and we'll just shove them aside,
Oh no,
and
I
then
think Leicester will turn up. I think that'll be a very tight game, but I think Chelsea will win.
so I'm telling you now, I'm looking forward to a Roberto Di Matteo 2.0 version.
It will never happen. But sure, let's see. So Europa, we're gonna do a quick summary because it's the Europa League. No offense, but
Yeah,
um,
the boys that play in Europa League,
yeah, Thursday night football. So we've seen of course
Simba FC.
Arsenal turned it around against like some of those teams, man. Like you'd expect them to beat them, so they beat them, which was
Yeah.
expected. So it was what was the game? 4-0. United won. That was pretty obvious that they were gonna do that. Villarreal and I think it's Roma.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, Villarreal, Roma, the other two.
yeah. So I can't speak to all the games because I at least saw like two. Um, but like, what were your thoughts in general? And what should we look forward to in the semis?
There's something funny that English teams, you know, and fans do, they do is that they get to the finals before they get to the final.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes for me, I don't really go that way. I wait for the game, because I know in football anything can happen. And there is a little bit of a history in between, you know, Arsenal and Villarreal because they're the two that will be facing off each other, you know. And Unai Emery is in Villarreal,
Hmm.
and Unai Emery is like the chairman of all the Europa League managers. He's
Ah,
won it. He's won
I
it
know.
multiple
I've heard
times.
that one before until they got
Yeah,
smashed for
I
4-1 by Chelsea. I've heard that one before.
yeah. I mean, But it's not as if Chelsea. You don't compare Arsenal and Chelsea. No offense to Arsenal. You don't do that comparison in this era. You don't do that comparison. Back then, Arsenal were way better ahead of Chelsea. But even at that time, Arsenal were not able to win a common Galatasaray in Europa League
Oh,
final.
come on.
Come on, from Turkey without no offense to
So
Galatasaray.
basically you're saying now in this you're saying this era, like today in this Europa League, you're saying Villarreal will beat Arsenal. That's what you're
I am telling you that Villarreal has a chance of beating Arsenal in the semi-final
Oh
of the
my
Europa
God.
League.
Okay.
Did you see what happened today in the Premier League against Fulham?
Yeah. I mean,
Did you see that?
Arsenal's
Hey,
problem for me is obvious. It's not just the squad, it's the coach, but that's just me.
all
Um,
righty, and they have that same coach going to play against someone who's won Europa League more than two times.
that no, like
And
for me that
did
tie,
you?
I think Arsenal has too much for Villarreal. Like if they lose to Villarreal, this Villarreal side, that's a disgrace. I'm gonna jump the
Did,
gun here, and I'll be very surprised. I'll be very so color me surprised if that Europa League final is not Arsenal United. That is an Arsenal
that's
United final,
expected. That is
and that
expected.
is a United win. United
That
should
is
win that trophy.
yeah,
United
that's
wins that
expected.
trophy with this current
That
squad.
that is expected. But remember, Arsenal has beat United this season.
Oh please. Oh please.
So what I'm trying to
when
say
it
is this:
counts, when it counts
when
now, I think United will they will rinse Arsenal in the final. That's just my opinion.
we'll wait. Let them play their semi-finals first. Roma, I think they will not be able to stand against Man United. You
No.
know, I was watching Roma today in the Serie A. You know, they lost 3-1 to Torino. You know, they were winning 1-0, and then Torino
Torino is
came
battling
back.
relegation as well.
Yeah, imagine. So I think they Roma were not good. You know, it's not the something might say, oh, Roma. I remember Roma beat Barcelona, did a comeback, but
Their
no,
style of play, their
that's
style of play,
that's not the Roma now.
no, but at the same time, Roma's style of play, their coach Fonseca, is it Fonseca? Is Fonseca their
Yeah,
coach?
it's from second. I still there.
He's I don't know what's happened to them second half of this season. They've been not so good, but like in the beginning of the season, they have a very the formation is very it's almost like it plays actually it's funny they're able to hurt United, but it also plays into United's hands for like break. Like United will have so much joy on the counter against
Yeah,
Roma. And that's why I think
exactly.
they'll get to the final. I think it's a United. Arsenal may just edge Villarreal. They'll lose. Funny enough, I don't see them having a problem away. I think it's at home where that issue will be for Arsenal. They will have their problems against Villarreal at home. The pressure might be too much. Like Unai coming back. I don't even know which leg they play for. I think they play away first, so they might be lucky there. Who knows?
I think that the Real will be in the final because of Unai maybe. Having an idea of the players that he has worked with at Arsenal and the type of players they are, and seeing how they are having a roller coaster season, like this, like that. And when they go down, they just like go down, down because they play rubbish. And then, you know, I don't even know what they played today. They scored their last. When they scored today, it was in the extra, in the injury time. I
Mm.
think so. When Nketiah scored, and Nketiah's scoring was like there was this argument of that it was offside because one of the players was in front of the goalkeeper, and
Yeah.
then he made the save, and then he carried it into Nketiah's, you know, um, way, and then he finished it. So imagine if that was ruled to be an offside. Basically, Arsenal would have lost to Fulham in the
Personally, I
spot
think that
bottom.
the draw regardless is not a good result.
It's not.
It would have put them 2 points behind Spurs. It would have given them a chance, but that's Arsenal. Like I'm not, I don't have any expectations of Arsenal today. I don't think. I think even though I'm saying um confidently that they'll get to the final, I think United should have more than enough to win this one.
United's got momentum.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And
United got
that counts a
momentum.
lot. That counts a lot to me.
Yes. So when you have momentum in your local league, then in the continental, you'll be able to do give your best, you know.
Hmm.
So that's what I think, you know. So give me a second here. So they were going to try their best, you know. They're going to try their best in, but anyway,
So
I can't
basically,
speak for, I can't speak for Arsenal. That's the thing.
yeah, Europa
Because
League is
they're
what it
not
is.
convincing.
Yeah,
No,
Europa League is what it is.
Man United will try their best. I mean, they'll walk over Roma. That's my, except there's any surprise,
I
they'll walk
agree.
over
I agree.
Roma.
They're probably gonna walk over
They'll
Roma.
walk
I think
over
so.
Roma. I watched their game today. Their comeback is, I think they have the best counter attack in England. You
Since
know,
last
they
season, I
have the
think so
best
too.
they have the best counter attack, and I guess
Although it
that's their
surprises me
style.
that teams also play I'm very surprised when I see teams like the United team, the profile of players, that's their bread and butter, but you still let them have space in behind. It's so weird to me, but
No, there's a way you do that. You intentionally sit back and wait for them to come to you. At some point, maybe between the fight between your first third, which is United's final third, and in the middle, they get the ball from you. They just work hard to get the ball from you, and then boom. Because when you have possession, there's a tendency that you are out of position
yeah,
when you're going to counter attack. So that's what happens to United. So all these things are like way and style of play. United will sit back, wait for you to come to them. Before you know it, they get the ball. Once they get it, their players know what they're doing. The midfielders know what they're doing, and the attackers know what they're doing. So before you know it, boom, it's getting to Rashford, or it's getting to Mason Greenwood, or it gets to Edson Cavani. Before you know it, boom, finish. That's
yeah,
what they did to Burnley today. And but I think against Roma, they will outplay Roma and they will win Roma.
yeah.
Because
I think that's fair.
I don't see Roma as a type of team, you know, that can keep possession for a longer period of time, make
No,
something out of it. Instead, they might even be the ones doing the counter attack on Man United,
yeah,
you
that's the same way I
because of
think.
the quality in both teams. And since Roma is not, the momentum is not in their favor as well, and today they played Dzeko was on the bench. I was like, excuse me, what's he doing on the bench? Like, are they saving him for the semifinals? That is
Probably. Well,
2 weeks time or something. I don't know, but they were not convincing today. So
yeah.
Man U wanted a trophy, and Ole will want a trophy.
Yeah, that's why
You know,
I think
so
they should I'll be surprised if they actually don't win the Europa League. I have more questions to ask if they don't win the Europa League, given what they've done. But yeah, so that's Europa, that's Champions League, and then
yeah,
again just to
Man
wrap up
United, Man United, and
and Arsenal.
Villarreal or Arsenal.
Wow, okay, I see you indecisive. So how about this weekend? Like this weekend, Premier League games. I thought they were okay. Nothing too. I like the Spurs versus Everton game, although the defensive, like Kane's goals, you make the same defensive error twice in the same game. It's kind of weird from Everton's perspective. But in my opinion, I think the games were okay. We're reaching the season is winding down. I think the
Yeah.
positions are almost set. Top four, City, United. I think if Chelsea wins tomorrow, they're third. Is it
Really?
tomorrow or Tuesday? Hmm?
No, playing on Tuesday. It's Liverpool that plays tomorrow.
Yeah, they're third
Liverpool
because
playing.
Leicester is on 56. You guys are on 54 now. If you win, you're on 59.
Oh,
So see how the tables turn. So yeah, Chelsea might be third.
that's a That's
And then I think
interesting.
Liverpool will close out the top four personally. So I think it's
Oh
gonna be.
my word, that's interesting.
That's why I said
So
like
who
if you
are
guys,
Leicester playing when they play?
I actually forget.
Hold on there. Because their next game is as important as the Chelsea game. Um, Leicester hasn't been good enough in the Premier League lately. They have surprised me, and I think it's deja vu of what happened last season, where they were doing well, and towards the end of the season, they just bowed out, and then they went
Yeah,
to
I
Europa
think it's
League.
West
I
Brom. I
thought
think West Brom's the next game.
if it's West Brom, then they're going to beat West Brom then.
I mean, for the time being, you guys will be third, and then who does Liverpool play?
Liverpool, they're playing Leeds United. I think
Oh,
they're playing away to Leeds
that's an
United.
interesting game. I can't call that one to be fair. I think Liverpool might just edge Leeds.
I
Just
think
just about. So yeah, I think top four will be City, United. I'm not gonna say Chelsea will come third, but I think City, United. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I say Leicester will fall apart again. City, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, top four for me.
I yeah, that's my take. I think we'll finish in top four. Liverpool will come top four. Liverpool will beat Leeds. I am very sure about that. Leeds are going to try to outrun them, but I think by the reason of Leeds, they actually leave themselves exposed a lot. And Liverpool is a very good side. Liverpool is going to try to finish up that game. Um, they're not going to they're not going to do like Man City. Man City they sometimes they overplay, and
Yeah,
when you overplay, you just like play into their hands. So a smart coach, you know, like uh, like Marcelo Bielsa, and uh,
yeah,
and these players they never stop running. I don't know what those guys eat and what they drink, but I think those guys never stop running. You know, even after the game to see they have extra energy left. So
yeah,
in that, I'm going to give it to Liverpool. So Liverpool is going to win that. West Ham lost their chance of uh, of cementing top four by winning, but they lost against Newcastle, which was a
Newcastle.
very very interesting game. I
It was.
loved
I
it.
saw that game as
It
well.
was. So I think they lost that chance, but they're going to put up another fight next weekend, which is they're playing Chelsea next weekend.
Oh, actually
So
that looks like an
that would be
exciting
an
game.
that would be a decider of the
Yeah,
top four.
that's a
I
good game.
think it's going to be a decider for the top four, and I hope we can put up a good fight. They are a very physical side. They run a lot, but we'll see what happens
Yeah,
in that game.
that's a good one to watch. So yeah, that's one to watch definitely. But we'll see how it pans out. I think we have pretty good predictions to be fair. I think for Champions League, well, I'm gonna say PSG Chelsea. You're not being committal for Chelsea, but that's fine. For Europa, I think PSG will win the Champions League. For Europa, I think United should really be winning that Europa League. It's theirs to win.
They should.
Or if they lose it, then questions have to be asked. Regardless of who they play, I think they should have too much for an Arsenal, whoever, okay, in that final. And then Premier League, we have top four of City, United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. And
Yep.
then, just other leagues around the world, I think. La Liga is pretty interesting, though, to be fair. I don't know what Atletico Madrid have done to
Something
blow
is happening
an
there.
11 points. It was 13 at some point. I don't know what's happened to them. And funny enough, they haven't lost many games. I think they've drawn,
Yeah,
just
they've
drawing
drawn
games.
five. They've drawn some games.
And Madrid and Barca haven't lost many games either, besides the first half of the season where they lost very early on. They've
Yeah.
actually been quietly winning games, both of them. And
Mm-hmm.
the gap is nothing. The gap is like 3 points between three of them. So anyone can
Uh,
win that league, but
as
questions
as
will have
of
to be
today,
asked.
as of today, Madrid drew with Getafe,
No way.
and then Atletico beat Eibar 5-0.
No way. So what's the table look like?
Levante lost to Villarreal 5-1, So Barca didn't play this week because they had the Copa del Rey finals, which they won 4-0 against Atletico Bilbao. So as the table, actually Barcelona win their next game, Madrid will go third.
Oh, this
Because
is very
yeah,
interesting. Okay. I will be
Atletico
very
Madrid got
surprised.
seven. Atletico Madrid got 70 points now. So Madrid with the
Oh,
draw, they have
67.
67. And Barcelona with the game in hand has
Could have 68.
65. Sevilla, believe it or not, have 64 points. So,
Unbelievable. What a season. I,
so
you see, that's the thing. Like people focus on the Premier League too much, but that's actually pretty interesting. I think if Atletico Madrid don't win this season, based on how they started and based on the gap that they had,
mhm.
Diego Simeone's job is probably under threat, I think. Because that's
I
that's is very questionable how a Madrid or a Barca should be winning this season league, given what has happened.
how many games left? They
I
have
think it's
they
37,
play 36 games, I guess, or 37.
38 in
They
total.
play if they play 38 games, actually they have 7 games left. Barcelona have 6 games left. So I think Atletico Madrid will win the league.
They should.
Barcelona will come second, um, and then Madrid will come third. Uh, because
Yeah.
right now the thing is that only Madrid has their eyes on Champions League, which could be a distraction to their league.
Hmm.
So Barcelona has finished the business of Copa del Rey finals. They
Yeah.
have won trophy. Atletico Madrid is now focusing their energy on La Liga, which means that and the way they play, they will play till they die on the field. So they are now focused on winning games.
Yeah.
Whether they have injuries or not, they will focus on winning those games. And
Yeah.
believe me, I think because of Madrid's destruction with the Champions League, and that is like 2 weeks ago, and anything can happen now. They played with Getafe. Getafe is 15th on the table, and they played they tied with them today 0-0. So
Yeah.
that gives I think that gives Atletico Madrid a lot of chance to win the league. I will
Okay.
go with I
Yeah,
think
I think that's a good choice.
yeah.
How about two more leagues to wrap up? How about Serie A?
Ah,
Inter Milan, I
something.
think, has already scored. Like, it's just a matter of when, like, which game did they actually confirm them as champions? The gap is too
Um,
big.
75 points, which is they are 9 points ahead of AC Milan, and it doesn't seem like they are going to drop points. Today they're
Yeah, they
tied
draw
with
points
Napoli.
today. Yeah.
They dropped points today. And then we scored an own goal, and Eriksen, equalized for them. But Atalanta beat Juventus today. Crazy game.
That was a good game.
Um, and then Milan
Milan
did
won as
their
well.
own, the one against Genoa. So basically, looking at the table, I
Yeah, I think
think
it's right.
it's a tough one because for the Champions League places is a tough one, but for the league title,
Yeah.
Inter will win the league, except they decide to sleep. But I don't think so. They are working really hard and playing to win the league, so they should be able to do that. But from the second
Fifth.
to the fifth, because Napoli's got 60 points, just 2 points behind Juve,
Hmm.
and they are 4 points behind Atalanta, who are 2 points ahead of Juve, and AC Milan are 66. So anything can happen. I don't really trust the consistency from Milan to Napoli. I don't trust their
Yeah,
consistency.
I mean that's
You
fair.
know,
I mean Milan. You don't. I wouldn't say they blew. The team is actually very young. I think they have the youngest squad in the league. So I think they've had a very strong season. Of course, they didn't have the team to
mm-hmm.
actually go through the 38 game season as champions, but I think they've made a good effort. I think it'll be Inter Milan, AC Milan or Milan. So Inter, Milan, and then number three will be, I think Atalanta will just hold on, and Juve will edge four. Um,
Yeah, I think so. I think
yeah,
the league might end the way it is right now with
yeah,
Inter champions, AC, Atalanta, Juve.
yeah. I think that's it. How
Just
about the French league? League 1. 1 point separates the top two.
you've been talking about Leo trying to hold
Yeah,
on. I don't see that happening. I
you can
think they
only
will not.
wish. You can only wish.
You Yeah, exactly. And from first to the fourth, it's tough.
It
It's
is.
just 3 points between first and the third and the fourth. Lyon's got 67 on first place. Monaco 68. So Monaco is still dreaming of winning the league. Lyon is still dreaming of winning the league. PSG 69 and Leo 70.
It's absolutely
So
incredible. I can't like it's.
it's, I think I like this season because it's more competitive. No one is running away with the league.
Yeah,
You look at Spain, it's only in England that it's maybe different. But if you look at Spain, you know, check last season, check this season. You look at the French Ligue 1, check last season,
yeah.
check
Last
this
season was
season,
close as well.
and
Even
even
Serie A
in
was.
Serie A,
Yeah.
So both, I think these leagues are, yeah, obviously want the fans to be there because it also makes watching on TV exciting,
Exciting as
you
well.
know. But yeah, I think I'm not going to give it to Lille. I think any of them can win it. It's
Okay,
just
that's
a
fair.
matter of it's just a matter of who stays winning. PSG won today against Saint and
Last
3-2.
minute.
So imagine that. Bordeaux lost to Monaco, which is a comfortable 3-0 for Monaco, which means they're also pushing they've set their eyes on the league. Some
Yeah.
of those players, like Fabregas and company want to like have a league title from the French league. Lyon beat Nantes, and Nantes are struggling. Funny enough, because I remember their game against PSG. You know, they, I think I think they beat PSG this season.
Hmm.
I think they beat them
Yeah,
two.
I think so.
I think they beat them 2-1. But it's a crazy season in the league
It
in French
is.
league.
But it's
So
exciting though. It's good to see
excited.
competition. It's good to see some new faces or returning faces in the Champions League next season. So
Yeah, it's going to be familiar faces. You know, uh, if Leo makes it, it's been a long time. I can't remember the last time I watched them. I think the first time I saw Lille in the Champions League was 2001 or
I think they
2005.
made it recently as well. Remember, they played Chelsea. They were in your group.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's true, it's true. Ah,
Osimhen was the
yeah,
striker
it's true, and yeah, it's true,
because they
it's
came second.
true.
They finished second to PSG.
Yeah, it's true.
Pepe and
But the memory that I can have for them in the Champions League was when they had Otazol the winger,
yeah,
in Nigeria. That was a game, and they had this Senegalese goalkeeper, Silva. You know, there was a very devilish free kick that Man United took that knocked them out of that Champions League. Because were scrambling. Man U were scrambling. They were playing Man United because it was so good in that match. And then the referee called a free kick, but the only thing was that the new players, these days, if you call a free kick, if there's a free kick awarded against you, just go and stand in front of the ball. And when you stand in front of the ball, that will make the referee to tell the players to wait
call
until
it
he
back.
blows the whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the new players did not go and stand in front of the ball. The moment the referee signaled, boom, Ryan Giggs played the free kick. It was a goal, and that was how Man United won in that Champions League game. I felt so bad for Lille because they were almost knocking United out.
Yeah.
That was the most. I think it will be the highlight of their participation in Champions League because this time around they almost did not do anything. When they
Yeah, it
played
was too.
Chelsea and
Yeah, it was nothing. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's a good wrap up. Of course, we'll keep doing this again as the games come. Next week is a bit dull. But when things start again, we'll see. Champions League, Europa League. There's a lot to cover. This is crunch time for pretty much everyone, every league.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for some twists, to be honest. Even though I have my predictions, it's kind of slightly predictable, but I'm still hoping for one or two things to just like set up the Euros nicely. Like these things happened. Just put us in the right frame of mind for
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot of football coming.
Oh
The Euro
yes,
start in June, right? June 11th,
yeah.
you know, and that will be Champions League finals on May 29th.
Yeah, it's too close. It's just too close. It's
Too
unbelievable.
close, too close.
It's
And then
unbelievable.
Champions League Euros June 11th to July 11th,
11th,
and the Premier League starts on August
August
14th, I
14th.
think.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
it's
so. So
what a year. I mean, we shouldn't be complaining, to be fair. Like,
ah,
it's a
I
lot of
can't
football.
complain. I just wish things, come back a little bit normal,
Yeah, it's fair.
so that fans can also go enjoy the game,
Yeah.
in the stadium. I think I was looking at the FA Cup semi-final today, against Leicester against Southampton. There were fans in the stadium today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of fans. So I think that's a good sign for English football. Uh, I think they're going to have some fans in the stadium as well in the Carabao Cup final next weekend.
Hmm.
So that's the game I'm looking forward to. Let me see how Tottenham will approach that game. Uh, Although favorites are Man City,
City, yeah.
but honestly speaking, it's just that I don't really understand what's wrong with Spurs, because I just think it's just a mindset. They feel entitled to win games because they have Harry Kane and not see out
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
That's my thought. It's not because of the coach, but I think it's the players on the field working hard enough to see out games when they
Yeah, I
leave.
think I think that's a
I,
fair.
I don't think it's the coach. I don't think it's
Oh,
the
I
coach.
think he's part of it is the coach, but they have enough tools to cause damage. Like they have enough tools to see things out. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes next week. Again, I think City will. I don't think it will
City
be.
will
I think
have
it'll
possession.
be a close game. To be, I think it will go to extra time. Actually,
Yeah,
um,
I think there will be extra time, but
but I
I
think
think City will have
City.
most of the ball,
Yeah,
and Tottenham will want to defend and defend. But the thing is that they are not good they can grind out games. And when you cannot grind out games against average teams like Newcastle, that tied in the last minute, against Everton, that tied the game. No offense to those teams, with all due respect, but those teams you cannot, with the caliber of players in the two teams, you can compare. You can compare the two teams. Tottenham have world class strikers. Son and Kane are I think the best duo in the whole world now for me, because their combination and the goal ratio that they have between them and the rest. You can compare them, but if you look at their midfield, Dombele is good.
he's
Dombele is
really
good,
good.
but
Yeah,
he's good. But I think his defensive work is not good enough to balance out his attacking work.
yeah,
And then Hoiberg, yes, people say he's good. I don't doubt it, he's good. But physically, he's not giving them what they need to see out games. You know, uh, and then their defense. They have on paper they have players that should be able to see out games.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you always predict that Spurs will win.
I think it's pressure too. I don't think. I think they're just under a lot of pressure to because this is the Spurs team. Like people expect a lot from these players before this squad breaks apart. But we'll see how it goes. Like, I mean, the game could go either way. It's the same thing as the Chelsea City game. I think it will go the same way. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be cagey. But again, City should have just enough to win
Yeah.
that game.
Well, what's your prediction on that? City
Um,
win. I
I,
think so.
I'm actually going to say 2-1. So yeah, City will win 2-1 extra time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow.